Hey everyone, it's Chris from Smithy Fitness. Welcome back, good to see you. Now, about 2.5 years ago, I did a really important video on donating blood, and to this point, it's been the most important video I've done, and hundreds of people have donated blood because of it. I'm very proud of that. But I think this video I'm going to do today could even be more important than that video as far as your health goes. So hang in there and try to watch to the end. If you're busy or you get bored partway through it, just put it in your bookmarks or in your watch later, because this can make a huge difference in your life. Now, we're going to talk about earthing today, and specifically we're going to talk about this book written by Clint Ober primarily. I'm calling him a hero because he's done a lot of work all on his own to bring back the understanding and the knowledge of grounding. So this book is called Earthing, the Most Important Health Discovery Ever. And I'm saying after that earthing can change your life. Basically, we suffer from an electrical instability and an electron deficiency. Okay, so that's a mouthful. And basically, what it is the earth is a negatively charged ball, and we need that negative charge to balance our body, our systems. And we'll go into that in more detail in a little while. But basically, we're not in touch with the earth because we don't have our bare feet or bare hands on the earth, on the soil, in the water, in the lakes, in the oceans. We're far too insulated, and we're depriving ourselves of good health because of it. So I'm going to say here, the average not grounded person suffers from all sorts of diseases, chronic pain. There's 80 diseases roughly that are caused by inflammation. And if you are grounded, inflammation cannot occur, according to Clint Ober. And I believe it. We'll talk about that again in a further segment. There's 80 of them, and that might include arthritis, alzheimer's, arrhythmia, heart disease. Many diseases are made worse and maybe occur at all because we are not grounded. Injuries. So if you're an athlete at all and you're working out and you have a problem with your shoulder, or in my case with the hip, being grounded will help you tremendously. Again, getting rid of the inflammation. But above and beyond that, insomnia, exhaustion, stress, anxiety, depression even, premature aging happens because we're not grounding. And again, athletic fatigue. If you are grounding yourself after a workout or overnight, you will feel better in the morning than if you don't. And my goal in this video is for you to really understand the necessity and the importance of it, and to really believe it and to see my enthusiasm, because it's made a big difference in my life. So this book, if you want to get more information, this is Clint Ober's Earthing book. It goes into much more detail than I'm able to in a 10 or 12 minute video. Highly recommend, and would be well worth your investment. So we have all these chronic diseases and problems, and earthing will restore or neutralize a lot of this. So as I say here, earthing restores and maintains your natural electronic state. And the simplest way to earth is simply to get your bare feet on the ground, on the grass, on the dirt, on the sand. Anything that's conductive, even concrete is actually conductive, pavement is not. But anything that's conductive will send the negative charge of the earth. Now, down here, you can see that I say that the earth is a huge battery. We've got the solar radiation from the sun. We've got our molten hot core down in the middle of the earth, just thousands of degrees Fahrenheit, bubbling over. And then most importantly is these lightning strikes. There's approximately 1.4 billion lightning strikes per year. That works out to about 50 per second. So constantly the earth is being bombarded by these lightning strikes which carry the negative electrons. Okay, so the earth is negatively charged. When we touch it, the charge goes up through our feet or through our hands or through our bums if you're sitting on the ground. It comes into the body and then starts to neutralize all this inflammation and these problems that we have because we're not in electrical accordance with our biology. So I actually wrote this out. This is actually an important little paragraph. But when grounded, you automatically absorb the negative charge, which in turn reduces the electrical imbalances and the oxidative free radicals involved in chronic inflammation and multiple diseases. So what it's doing is it is balancing the body, as I said. It is getting rid of those free radicals and enabling much better health. Maybe not perfect health, but much, much better. And it happens quite quickly, which we'll go over in a minute. So my story is, I've had some hip issue. My brother had his hip replaced a few years ago, and I'm fearful that I'm going down the same pathway. But I can tell you that as earthing became aware, or I became aware of it in real detail about last April or so, by walking on the grass through the summer, my attempt was 5,000 steps per day, barefoot on the grass. And I can tell you that it made a massive difference. That I would often park my car, call it 2,500 steps away from the field, and I would wear my shoes and walk through the park on the paved path. And I would be quite sore. Some days I'd be quite sore when I got to the field, but once I took my shoes off, and within 2 or 3 minutes, I felt much better. By the end of the 5,000 steps, which might take 40 minutes, let's say, able to jog, even sprint, kick the soccer ball before I put my shoes back on and went back to the car. Now, it doesn't last forever. You have to, this earthing has to be a daily habit. It's much tougher in the winter, and there are ways that we can get around it through sheets or through a pad that's neutralized. But we'll talk about that in another minute as well. So my hip improved dramatically with the earthing. My sleep too. Now I'm a hot sleeper. My ex-wife used to call me the furnace because I was like on fire, and I would wake up in the night because my body was so hot. Between the back, you might suffer from this or experience this yourself, especially if you're an older guy. Just between the back and the sheet, that area, boy, that would be hot. I could be, fine, cool here, but in between it gets clammy and sweaty. But once I started earthing, that heat dissipated. So it's the inflammation, we call it squelching the inflammation in the body. So the inflammation is, inflamed, and just this heat gets dissipated with the earthing, with the neutralizing of the electronic imbalance. I keep coming back to it. It's so important, and it really makes a difference. All I can say is try it. There is a lot of skepticism out there on this. I've told a lot of people. Not many have taken it to heart the way I have. It seems like a nice idea, but it just doesn't register as to the depth of the importance. And I want to really try to get that to you. So my hips improved, my sleep has improved, everything is better when I'm earthing or grounding regularly. Now it is tougher in the winter. I do have an earthing sheet for my bed. You basically buy a sheet. You can go to earthing.com, buy a sheet, and plug it into the ground socket of your outlets. So that's the bottom one. You got the top two that the plug goes in, and then there's this bottom one that's the ground. Anyway, you can search that on your own, but it's really useful, as are these pads. So this is a pad that's actually plugged into the socket. Actually, we can have a look, Stephen. If you come up, you can see this is attached. It's the ground. There's no cost to this. It's just, attached to the grounding wire, or the grounding, stake that's in the ground. So anything that comes into the house is grounded, so the fridge doesn't explode. If there's a lightning strike, it all goes to ground. That extra surge goes to ground. That's what this is. So I just step on it, and I'm grounded, even though I'm inside. So you can buy these products. They're really great, especially in the wintertime. But in my opinion, there is nothing like being outside, and for me, it's walking on the grass. Maybe if you live near the ocean, you can walk on the sand. That's fantastic. Get in the salt water. That's probably the best way. I have a lake pretty close to me, so I can get my feet in the water there as well. So here's the benefits. A rapid decrease in inflammation, a rapid decrease or elimination of chronic pain, decrease or elimination of chronic pain. It's quite incredible. So if you're suffering from something, get outside or get some way where you can get grounded. You have a dynamic blood flow improvement. So I've sort of done a little diagram here, and basically your viscosity of your blood normalizes with grounding. So before grounding, here's your blood cells. They're sort of flowing like ketchup. They're all close and clumped together. And after grounding, they separate and they flow and your blood flows like red wine. Okay, your blood actually circulates about once a minute throughout the whole body. There's one circulation per minute. So if you ground, even for as little as 5 or 6 minutes, you're going to make a big difference. I would recommend grounding for at least 30 minutes a day. And when the weather is nice, hours. If you can. The more the better, okay? But even a little is good, and it's infinitely more is better than none. So we get a dynamic blood flow improvement. You reduce your stress, increase the energy, improve sleep. We talked about that. Accelerated healing. There's a study of the American team in the Tour de France using grounding directly on scrapes and bruises and just overall fatigue of the race, and having great success with that. Again, you can search that out in this book. I won't go into it now, otherwise the video would get very, very, very long. So accelerated healing is part of it. The earth is there for you. Okay, I kind of think of the earth as your parent that loves you, or a beneficent God who is there, but he's not imposing himself on you. It's just there. It's pulsating with energy and with, it's quietly energetic, pulsing with energy. Just get out there and use it. It's never going to say, hey, come on over. You have to get out there and use it, and it's waiting for you at any time with no cost. There's no cost. There's no money in this. And that brings the huge skepticism of grounding. It's becoming much more accepted now. I see quite a few health influencers talking about grounding on Twitter or on X. There's obviously no money in it, except for the grounding sheets, which don't cost very much. But the earth, being in touch with the earth, there's no cost to that. It's a novel idea. It's kind of a new idea. It's ancient knowledge. It's a health discovery. It's not something new. It's not an invention. It's something we've always had. But since 1960, with the invention of plastics and rubber, most of us have been disconnected. So, I think of my parents, my poor mother who had Alzheimer's. I really doubt if she touched the earth the last 5, 7, 8 years of her life. We all wear shoes. We all sit in chairs with our shoes on. We all have carpeting in the house. None of that is conductive. So I can think of, many people who've gone years and decades, even our kids. You're wearing your shoes to school. You're wearing flip-flops to the beach, which are rubber. There's no connection there. You take them off and you're connected, but maybe only for a few minutes before you're putting them back on. So we've got to use we have to intelligently make it happen, because the way society is right now, it is a non-grounding society, and we really need to change that, and to help ourselves and then to tell other people about it as well. So since 1960, most of us spend most of our time, if not all of our time, not in touch with the earth the way that nature intended, not walking barefoot ever through the through trails or on the beach even. So lastly, I'm going to say, this is kind of, we call this cutting edge information. It's funny to say that. Again, it's been around forever. But take advantage of the information that's available to you to give yourself a leg up, to give your health a leg up. Anti-aging, premature aging is happening because we're electronically out of balance. So to look as young and vital and as handsome or beautiful as you can, make sure you're doing some grounding. It'll do you good. All right, look, I've been trying to make this video for about 8 months, and the topic is a little bit complicated, a little bit tough to explain in a short window. I hope you get at least an inkling of my enthusiasm for it, my belief, and I'm really going to push you to get out there and do some grounding. Let me know how it goes. Let me know in the comments below what you think and what your experience is. And of course, please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.